Whoa! Whoops! I accidentally jumped out of the last story. I was right in the middle, telling you about Sherman Square, my first night at Sherman Square, and so you can consider this part two of the same story. We're just picking up where we just left off. Hey there, how do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the '80s, darling. It's 1986, and I'm working at Sherman Square, the all-night vigil. Sitting there in the booth, sitting there in the little office, not a booth, but a little office, with a nice glass window and a little television there so that you can watch whatever you want. All night long. I didn't do that. As soon as I got in there, I turned that damn thing off. Snap that television off immediately. Put on the radio. Yes. They had a little radio over there. So then come the doldrums. But 3:15, 3:45, things slow down, and then nothing happens for a couple of hours. That's when you can go do your chores. Or that's when you can get an obscene phone call. I got my very first obscene phone call in Manhattan at around 3:45 in the night. Phone rang, and I'm like, geez, who could be calling this joint at this hour? I hope nobody's hurt. I hope nobody's in trouble. So I pick up the phone. I'm all chipper. Sherman Square, may I help you? There's nothing there. I say, hello? Sherman Square, may I help you? And then I hear, and I'm like, oh, and I got the shivers down my back. Yeah, sorry about that. Didn't mean to do it to you, but I'm telling you, I looked over at the Venetian blinds and I immediately shut them, just in case somebody was in their building looking at me, just to get my reaction. I go, well, that's ridiculous. I felt a little bit emboldened by shutting those Venetian blinds. And so I go back to the phone call and I'm listening and he's still going, oh. And I said, oh, really? He says, oh. I say, is that all you got? He says, oh. I said, that does it. Mother has been looking all over for you for the last 3 or 4 days. You call her immediately. And I told you, don't ever call me here again. And I slammed down the phone. Slam crunch. And I got to admit, that sort of broke me up. Anyhow, comes time to do the chores, and you take the trash out, and you mop the floors. And then I was going to go up on that roof, yes. So I made sure that everything was nice in the office. Everything's done, everything's clear, everything's clean. I got all the trash taken care of, and I put my sign in the window. Back in 5 minutes. A lie. Hey, I didn't make up that sign. It was already there. It lived there. Back in 5 minutes. A lie. Yes, I know. I didn't say a lie, but it was. All right. So, I go up there on the elevator. I go up to the 12th floor, and then you get out, and then you walk up that last flight of stairs, and you open this big, imposing cast iron door. And there it is, the Manhattan dawn. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I'm looking at the buildings, and I'm looking at the shapes, and looking at all the beautiful straight lines. You know, the juxtaposition of the different colors of brown and gray and black. It's just so amazing. And whichever direction you look, and now the sun is beginning to come up. It's like the Grand Canyon. Only it's human manufacture. It's amazing. And it's all mine. When you stand there on the top of a roof like this and you gaze, you say, I am master of all that I survey. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's got its troubles. There's every kind of life is going on there. Never dines with forever. There's juxtapositions of wealth and poverty wherever you look. It gleams in the sun. and it's all mine. Yes, it was a beautiful thing. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Whenever I could get a chance, I would go upstairs on the roof and gaze over at my vista. Yes. So suffice to say, I worked at Sherman Square another night or two, and then I'm back on unemployment. And lo and behold, what happens? But my dear friend Claudia, we shared a stage together in University of Detroit. We were in La Ronde, and we were dear friends. And she ran into me. She said, "Listen, I just got cast in a movie. You got to talk to the director. You're perfect for the role." And I'm like, "Ooh, what role?" She says, "It's a guy. You gotta talk to the director. I don't know if he's already casted or already had auditions, but you gotta talk to him." And I'm like, "Well, that don't sound right, but okay." So she arranged it. We made a phone call. We made some phone calls, and I went and I met the director, Lee Poe, fellow by the name of Lee Poe, an Asian American, and I was going to meet him over at New York University. So he pulls up on his little motorcycle, and he's got his helmet on and his leather jacket and everything. He's so imposing when he gets off, and he looked like Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still, with his motorcycle helmet and everything like that. That was my first impression of him. Anyhow, he takes the helmet off. Oh, and it's a human. It's a guy. We went into the one of the classrooms, and he sat down, and we looked at the script, and he says, "Now, here's the thing. I've sort of already had auditions. I've sort of already cast it." And I'm like, well. He said, "We're just going to read it. We're just going to read it, see how it goes. We'll just read this together. Is that all right?" And I said, "All right." A script called One Sunday Afternoon that he had written from a short story. So we read it together. Lee Poe and I hit it off quite well right away. We liked each other, and we got off, got along like a house on fire and all that stuff. And we read the script, and I even made him laugh a couple times during the reading. And after we read the script, he's like, "Okay, I'd rather use you." And I'm like, he says, "I'm gonna have to make a phone call." And I'm like, awkward. I'm glad it wasn't me. He says, "That'll be fine." So it was fine. We wound up doing One Sunday Afternoon. We shot it for over the course of a month and a half or so, sprinkled throughout the weekends and the weeks, location after location after location after location. We shot we shot up at the church. We shot out at Sarah Lawrence College. We shot up out in Long Island. We shot on a soundstage. We shot over in Jersey City. We were moving all over the place from location to location to location. It was so much fun and so much hard work. I remember when we were at Sarah Lawrence, we spent almost the whole weekend there, and there was a lot of time being spent on the setup and setting the stage, setting the set. We found a really beautiful room, and they had to make the curtains and the lighting just so. So that time we used to learn our lines. We're still learning our lines, and it was a glorious time. He and Claudia and T. Ryder, a very imposing chap, and the evanescent Gene. The four of us were the ensemble for this very interesting NYU film. It was an NYU film, and it was Lepo's thesis project. Right. We had a choreographer. There was some choreography. We had a very suave and elegant choreographer, George. We all loved him, and he taught us, 8 left feet, how to how to look like we had a clue. It was lovely. Anyhow, we shot that for a month and a half, and it was a lot of work. And one of the best things about it was, in addition to the camaraderie, in addition to the stuff that we learned, in addition to the late nights you stay up all night long, just give me some toothpicks. Exactly. But they had this crafts table. Now, the production manager wasn't always Johnny on the spot on all aspects of his job. However, that cat could put together a craft table. Oh, it was magnificent. There was muffins and Danish and fresh fruit and 2 or 3 different kinds of juice and a coffee maker in one of the things, not just a coffee maker, but the big tureen. Oh yeah, that's how to do it. And there was chocolate candy and anything that you could want. So whenever you were hanging around between shots, well, you just hang around the the craft table. It was breathtaking, and I say that because it took my breath away. Anyhow, sorry about that. Anyhow, this was a fantastic project. We all learned so much, and that went on for a month and a half. And then we wrapped. And then Lipo went into editing, and we didn't see him for about a month and a half. He was very busy. He'd surface every now and then to let us know that he was still alive and kicking, but he was very busy with editing his film. So we didn't have a premiere of that. We never had an official premiere of One Sunday Afternoon, did we? No, we didn't. All right. This is part 2 of part 3 is coming up. So I wanted to tell you, please, I wanted to ask you, please, to like and to subscribe. Please subscribe. And please share it out to your friends. And please comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. I look forward to talking to you again.